It happened on November 9th, 1988. In a slum in Chicago, the silence of the night is broken with the noise of fast steps and the faraway sirens of police cars. Through a dark alley, a man is running, out of breath and limping due to a bullet shot on his leg. It was Charles Lee Ray, a serial killer known as the Lakeshore Strangler. He was the most wanted criminal at the time due to the brutality and viciousness of his crimes. And now that they finally found him, the entire police department was after him to catch him, dead or alive. Desperate, Charles tried hiding in a toy store. A detective catched up to him and shot him in the chest. Dragging himself however he could, Charles reached a shelf with good guys dolls, which were very popular among the kids back then. Surrounded and knowing his end was near, the Strangler grabbed one of the dolls and started to recite words in a strange language. Words that sounded like some kind of magical incantation. That instant, a wild storm was unleashed and a huge lightning bolt struck the store, blasting away the detective and everything around him. Once the police arrived and searched through the rubble, they found a lifeless body of Charles Lee Ray, known as Chucky by his close relatives. Days later, Karen Barclay, a mother and widow, was coming back home from work to celebrate her son's birthday, carrying a big box. When she opened the door, Andy, who was turning 6 years old, rushed to receive her, knowing she was bringing him a gift. He eagerly opened it and was filled with excitement when he saw it was what he so much wanted: a good guy's doll. From then on, that doll, which was almost the same size as Andy, became his inseparable friend. When Andy was alone in his room, from outside, Karen could hear how Andy would talk with the doll non-stop. According to Andy, the doll was named Chucky and wanted to be his friend. The kid was obsessed with the doll, but Karen didn't give it much importance. One day, Karen had a night shift and Andy stayed home with his babysitter. Although Andy insisted that Chucky wanted to see the 9 p.m. news, she turned off the TV and told him to go to bed. Surprisingly, when she came back to the living room, she found Chucky sitting on the couch with the TV on. She grudgingly grabbed the doll and threw it into Andy's room, scolding him for his little prank, even though Andy said he hadn't done anything. The hours passed by and the babysitter, who was reading on the couch waiting for Karen to come back, all of a sudden heard weird noises in the house, quick steps and furniture being dragged around. She went to Andy's room to scold him again, but the child was peacefully sleeping in his bed, in the same position she left him. The woman started to get nervous, thinking that someone else could be in the house. She went to the front door to check and she found it was open with a chair backed against the doorknob. She heard the steps once again, panicked and rushed towards the phone to call for help. But it had no tone. Someone had torn out the phone cable from the wall. Now she was sure she wasn't alone. She frantically looked around, searching for something to defend herself, but found nothing. She then went to the kitchen, hoping to find a knife, and she found Andy's doll standing on the counter with a blank stare and a mocking smile. Seeing that made her blood run cold, but she had to get closer to reach the knife. All of a sudden, when she was just centimeters apart from the doll, he seemed to look directly at her, as if he were alive, accentuating his smile. The woman, horrified, didn't know how to react when she saw Chucky moving by himself, grabbing a kitchen hammer and throwing it towards her. The blow to her face was so strong that it made her fall backwards, losing her balance and breaking through the window behind her. She fell 6 floors before violently crashing on the roof of a car parked on the sidewalk. That's how the first movie about Chucky starts, titled Child's Play. This terrifying film tells the story of a serial killer, an expert in voodoo rituals, who manages to transfer his soul to a doll before being captured by the police. The doll comes alive, and it starts a wave of violent crimes with the objective of transferring his soul to a human body before ending trapped in the doll forever. The movie became a phenomenon which gave rise to 6 sequels and remake in 2019. A show that will premiere this year, as well as lots of dolls replicas of the original that many fans want to take home, probably with the illusion of it coming to life. What many don't know is that Chucky's character is inspired by a real-life case that we've already shared in this channel. The case of Robert the Doll, a doll made at the end of the 19th century which spread panic for many generations, until it ended up inside a security urn in a museum. Many deaths and mysterious incidents occurred with this doll being around, but nobody could ever prove the doll had anything to do with them, and nobody has seen it come to life directly, or at least nobody who has lived to tell it. Chucky's story, as surreal as it seems, makes us remember that there are still mysteries and hidden forces which escape our control and understanding, and that evil in its purest form can be a threat to us in any moment.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, and if you want to see more Draw My Life videos, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next episode!